Hello everybody, and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary, where I do the research to try to teach you a little something about what you're drinking. Tonight, I wanted to hop on and do a live stream, because it's been quite a while, and just thought it'd be kind of fun to do. Felt a bit inspired, so I'm going to kind of get into stuff in a couple of minutes here, but I'm going to give people a couple minutes to filter in as well. So, let us see what we got. So Scotch for Dummies is in here. Awesome, glad to see you. Let's see, we got Peter White trying to break out my Glendalough. Ah, man. So you were able to get your hands on the 13. So I haven't exactly been looking hard for it, but my understanding is it's not available in the States yet. Do you happen to know different? So I'm trying a slightly different setup as well here tonight. Got my mouse over here so I can kind of fiddle with some stuff, but in general, I'm going to try to avoid playing around with too many things. So. As I'm clicking 100 things, I'm just trying to get my setup back to the way I had it a second ago. All right, so tonight I am going to be talking about Glendalough. So I've got the 7-year, and I've also got the double barrel here. And I found myself at the local, like, really large liquor store near me because I was looking to buy a present for somebody. And as I was there, on Saturdays, often they'll have tastings. So I kind of walked around a bit and checked out a few things. So LCBO, is that the military thing? Like, I totally don't know what LCBO means. All right. Anyway, so I was at the store and walked in. First thing I see, Whistle Pig. So I'm like, cool, let's check that out. Whistle Pig is a rye. It's usually pretty high proof, just slightly over 100. Usually, like the one I have is 100.3. So it's a pretty good drink. And hold on. I don't know who my boy is, but blocked. Anyway, so Whistle Pig is something I personally love. It's a really good rye. It's pretty spicy though, and it's they had 3 different new ones there. So they had a kind of a custom to the liquor store, and I tried that. It was fantastic. It was a bit sweeter than most Whistle Pigs. I also tried the Old World, and then the I think it was like a 15-year-old. I'd say like the Old World was pretty good. It was I think it spent some time in sherry and port casks, which you can really tell the difference. It smoothens it out a lot and gives it a little bit of sweetness as well. The 15-year-old, actually, I gotta say, I was less impressed with that than I was of the, kind of custom. And I don't know the specifics around the custom, but I do know that it's, knowing the group, I don't think they went too over the top. Certainly shouldn't be better than the 15, but in my opinion, it was. So I don't know if anybody's on the fence about buying a 15-year-old Whistle Pig, but so far, although good, I don't think it would get my vote because I'm guessing it's pretty expensive. What's up, Mark? How you doing? My boy. All right. You're not blocked, but I hid that first message. So, either way. After that, I ended up talking to this guy. His name is Randall. So, this local liquor store, its name is Julio's, and it's one of the biggest in Massachusetts, probably the biggest in Massachusetts, and by biggest I mean best selection. It's also fairly large, but whatever. Hey, it's Tom R. Tom and I have a thing. We both watch a lot of the same live streams, so every time I see him, I'm just like, hey Tom, hey Bill. There's another guy, Santa Cruzin. He just popped in as well, and he's a good guy as well. And my boy Mark Lovejoy, he's actually been on, I think, since pretty much my first live stream. It wouldn't surprise me if he was in there. Whistle Pig 10 and the Boss Hog are from Alberta Distilleries. About to polish off your bullet. Now, is that bullet bourbon, bullet rye, bullet 10-year? What do you got? Howdy, Welsh. Nice to see you. So one thing I'm going to mention, actually, you know, I'm gonna put this off for another 5 minutes or so and let more people kind of filter in. But anyway, continuing. So I was talking to this dude. His name's Randall, and he's got a kind of like a podcast that he does. I actually kind of forget the name of it, but it's out of that store. And him and I connected at that Rhode Island whiskey tasting that I did the video of maybe like a month and a half, 2 months ago. And he had told me that, you know, like maybe he'd have me on the show and whatever. So I kind of talked to him for a while, try to show him that I'm not, you know, small guy. I actually just passed 6,000 subs, so at some point tonight I'll be cheersing that as well. But anyway, talked to him for a while. He took me to the back room, and there were probably about 40 open bottles back there. And I told him, I was like, I'm looking for something kind of special to do my Christmas episode on. So, you know, I kind of wanted to get an idea of what he, being a very, very knowledgeable whiskey connoisseur, would think was a special dram. And he actually poured me this Japanese whiskey, which the name is escaping me at the moment. It's Cavino, something like that. No, I'm sorry, I totally don't remember. It comes in it's got a black label. It's aged in plum barrels, and it actually tastes a bit like sake, which is kind of neat. So far, I'm really starting to be very impressed with Japanese whiskeys, the ones that I try. So I might start doing a few more of those on the channel. And actually, that's a halfway decent segue into why I'm doing this live stream on these guys. Now, those of you that have checked out all of my videos or at one point or another seen my list know that I think I've probably only done 2 or 3 Irish whiskeys. It's not that they're bad or anything, it's just, I don't know, there's so many bourbons near me. Usually the price on bourbon is very good. Scotch is obviously a huge thing. And although Irish whiskeys are good, you know, I find there isn't a ton of variety, at least to my knowledge so far. But then again, there's a lot that I haven't tasted. So let me just check out the chat here for a minute before I continue. So, yep, Mark says he's been there since the first live stream. So, working on Evan Williams. All right, well, I guess all work needs to be done. The reason you call it work, I guess. Which Evan Williams are you drinking at least? What are legs in whiskey? So legs in whiskey, if you ever have wine or whiskey, pretty much any alcoholic beverage will have this. But I'll show you when the time comes to. But if you take a glass and you've got whiskey in there and you swirl it around, you'll see these little, they call them legs, and they kind of look like legs, and they drip down the side. And the more viscous, usually the higher the alcohol content. But in general, it's something that people will look at and just be like, oh, those are nice legs on there. You know, it usually means a higher quality. So, let's see. Bullet bourbon, all right. And you just picked up the Glenfiddich 15, very nice. I actually just suggested the Glenfiddich 12 to a friend of mine, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's drinking it right now, actually. Do Johnny Walker Blue label. So actually, Johnny Walker Blue was my very first Patreon goal, and I've hit it a long time ago, but part of that whole thing was that I wanted to get through all of the Johnny Walkers working my way up to blue. Just the main line. I'm not going to do all of the select and like the director's cut and all that stuff. It's although I might do that one eventually, but that's why I did the double black, because in my mind it's red, black, double black, green, gold, platinum, and then blue. And I'm going to get my hands on some gold and some platinum pretty soon, which means, and blue actually. There's a little kit that you can buy. It's black, gold, platinum, blue, which means I'll just have to buy a green. But after I went on a bit of a spending spree today, which I'll tell you about in a little bit too. Might be a little bit before I buy some more bottles. So it was not Hibiki. I don't know, if I get enough interest, I'll do it later. Glendalough 13, nice. Yep. 2 people drinking that now. Black label, might switch to Glenfiddich 12 to improve my image. What's up, Bill? Bourbon Dirty, what's going on? Stay away from the red, yeah. Let me tell you, that Johnny Walker Red video that I put out, I think it's at it's well over 10,000 views. It might be 12 or even 15. It's like my 4th or 5th most viewed video. I get so much hate on that video from everywhere else in the world except for, like, you know, honestly, like first world countries. Like, you got to think, you know, a lot of Johnny Walker is in literally every country. That's one of their claims to fame. So you get a lot of these, like, kind of third world countries that are kind of whatever, I don't know what you would call it, because they obviously have internet, so I don't think it's third world's the right term here, but they're not like America and Scotland and, you know, the UK or whatever. And they come on and they're just like, hey man, Red Label is good stuff. And I'm just like, just because it's the only thing you have doesn't mean it's good. So, anyway, I can't believe I am famous. So my boy, I've never seen you before, so I've got to wonder if you're somebody under a different name or if you've just been quiet in the past. All right. Anyway, so I am going to open it up to the crowd here, which one I go to first. I've got the 7-year and I've got the double barrel. Both of these are completely closed. Now, I had a sample of both of them earlier today, so it won't be the first time I've had it. But I'm going to leave it completely up to all of you. Let's see. I'm going to give it to the count of about 30 or so and take some votes. The 7 or the double barrel first. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about the inspiration of why I'm doing these particular whiskeys. What's going on, Scotch Test Dummies? So, total, what is it? Not segue, non sequitur, which is all these live streams end up being anyway. I just am all over the place. It's probably a good thing I don't have a partner because they'd be driven crazy by the fact that I'm just all over. Anyway, so the Scotch Test Dummies just had their 400th video review, and it was really, really fun. Although I've got to say I liked their 399th, or actually they're unnumbered. I think it's probably going to be like 401 review better on the phenomenology, I think it's called. But either way, they're both on Compass Box. Their 400th was the no-name Compass Box, and it's about a half hour, which, you know, I know can deter some people, but I will tell you that it's a quality half hour, and you should absolutely watch it. And while I'm giving shout-outs, I don't see him on here yet. He might be drunk, I don't know. But Malted in Montreal, he's another one of these guys that does reviews. If you have never heard of his channel, go check him out. He does reviews as well. He's a great guy, and in fact, typically he does live streams at 9 o'clock on Saturdays, and he moved his time so that I could do this because, as you know, I'm very sparse and kind of unpredictable when I do my live streams because I have too many other things keeping me from having you know, a set schedule. Although that might change in 2018. We'll see. I'm going to do some sort of a video at the beginning of 2018 with kind of what I want to accomplish over the course of the year. All right, so let's see what people are voting. People are voting 7-7, double, 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 double. All right, so double is winning. So I'm going to start on the double barrel. All right, so I have not taken my time to do too much research on these bottles. So I'm just going to kind of go in blind and hopefully not embarrass myself, but let me pour this and then give it another minute to sit. So as I was at Julio's, dude, my boy, I'm going to boot you out of here. Just don't be an idiot. All right, so the reason I'm doing this. So I was at Julio's Liquors, and this guy, his name is Donald, he was representing Glendalough. And, you know, I just assumed he's the typical guy that represents whiskey distilleries and has nothing really to do with them. But I started talking to him, and he ended up being one of the co-owners, who I did some research tonight. I guess there's 5 friends that kind of started this distillery. I believe it was in 2010 or 2011. But they put out their first batch. It's basically new make. It's, you know, that clear stuff in 2011. And they've been going ever since. And, you know, it must have been 2010 because obviously they have a 7-year, but then again they have a 13, so I don't know how that works out. I'll have to do some real research and do a real video on this. I'm not going to pretend like I know too much about these guys. Either way, I talked to him, and he said that the 7-year is officially 7 years and 1 day. All right, hold on one sec. Sorry, this guy's driving me crazy. He's kind of awful. I'm going to put him in timeout. That's fun. All right. So whoever my boy is, I just put you in timeout. So whatever. All right, so why don't I go ahead and do a nose of this, and I'll continue my story in a sec here. All right, so for those of you that are drinking with me, I cheers you, and for those of you that aren't drinking with me, I hope you have a very good reason. So, cheers. The nose on that is really good, very fruity. I almost don't want to take a sip yet. It smells very, very good. So, when I talk about fruity, I'm talking about pears and cherries, but more like. Actually, I'm gonna nix the cherries. I'm gonna go with white grape. There's honey in there, without a doubt. That's very, very sweet. I'm going to see if I can find the mash bill on this for my episode, because I'm very curious. It's almost like nosing, it's like nosing a bourbon without the oak. So, all right, I'm going to have a sip of this. Cheers. So, it's a bit dry. So I know why. This is just slightly, it's 42 ABV, so 84 proof. It's just slightly over a normal 80, and it's not much harshness at all. Actually, I don't think that's coming from the alcohol, but it does have a slight burn in your throat, which, very nice. A little bit of heat to it, so there's definitely some spice in there. This is a more complex whiskey than I remembered this afternoon, but I mean, the little sip I just had was about how much I had there, so let me try another sip of this. Geez, I am filled with spammers tonight. That's awful. Really annoying. So, yeah, the cost. All right, so actually, that was another reason that I bought these. These are incredibly inexpensive. There was a sale going on today. So this guy right here, yes, this one, I might have these backwards, I'm sorry. One of these cost 61 or 60, no, $42. This one was $42. This one was like $24. Yeah, because I ended up spending 67-ish between the two bottles. So I think even when it's not on sale, you're not going to pay more than like $75, $76 for both of these bottles, which, I mean, anytime I can get my hands on two bottles of whiskey for under 80 bucks, I'm usually pretty happy, especially if they're good. And more specifically, not bourbons, because, you know, buying around here, it's very cheap to buy bourbon. But this guy, I believe, was the cheaper one. So anyway, all right, let's see what else. So actually, let's see if you can see this. I'm not doing a good job there. Let me do this, because somebody was asking about legs earlier. Yeah, it's not coming through. Yeah, sorry, that's not coming through on the camera. But if you've got a glass of whiskey in your hand, or wine, just swirl it around like that and you'll see. All right, so as far as taste, there is definitely some more going on in here. I'm not going to do a very good job describing it, but let me try one more time. I keep taking sips and then distracting myself, so give me a sec. There's almost like a little black licorice to it, like star anise. And yeah, I think it's got a nice little malty flavor there too. So I think Bart would probably enjoy it. Anyway, it's interesting enough. I actually think the nose, in my mind, is more the winner here. The nose on this is very nice. It smells wonderful. I actually know that they make colognes. Actually, I got a friend of mine who makes colognes out of whiskey, and I'll try to remember to put the link to their site in the description here. But one of the smells that they use is not Glendalough, but it does smell very similar to this. And actually, I think the nose on this would make a great perfume, not perfume, cologne. Because even though it might smell a little bit like whiskey, it's got enough good smell in it that whatever. I think that could be all right. Are there any pros of Irish whiskey that Scotch and bourbon, etc., don't have? So that's a good question. So doing the very, very mild amount of research. As I mentioned, I bought these this afternoon. I think it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's now 9:19. So I've had 6 hours, and most of that time was spent playing with kids or talking with my wife or whatever. I think I probably put in about a half hour of any sort of research. One thing that I've noticed, I'm going to answer your question 2 different ways. In my mind, Irish whiskey so far, with my experience, is not as impressive as Scotch, and you're going to be harder pressed to find super interesting drams out of an Irish whiskey. But the good news is that Irish whiskey is kind of getting the same treatment that a lot of different regions are getting, where there's micro distilleries. And in fact, this is one of them. They're no longer micro, but they are still very new. And there's a number of them. So I think, more to answer your question, you're not going to get terribly complex flavor out of Ireland at the moment, unless there's a bunch of them that I haven't tried, which there are. But more importantly, at least to me, being an American and just like my parents are entrepreneurs, I've started a couple businesses myself, like very small ones, but still, like, I love the idea of small business. So when I read that these 5 guys kind of went into business by themselves because they really wanted to bring Irish whiskey back away from these big conglomerates conglomerate, I think is the right word, that have bought up all of the different distilleries. What is it called? Diego, and for example, Bushmills, right? Bushmills is ultimately owned by Jose Cuervo. You know, like, that hurts to think about. So the idea of a small group coming along and not being bought out is like really inspiring to me, and so that was another reason I wanted to kind of highlight these guys. So what's going on, Swami? I gave you a nice little shout out earlier. Irish are triple distilled and generally come off as a little smoother. Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it than me. Oh my gosh, these people. All right, I think I'm gonna have to make some sort of filters for the next time I do this, because I don't want to keep distracting myself. But if you see any spam in there that's like really bad, just tell me and I'll block them. Otherwise, I'm going to try to ignore it. So let's see what else we got. My boy, I kind of like, I'm on the verge of hating you, but I don't hate you too much. That's pretty funny. For those, I think you can all read the stream if you're watching this later. He says putting me in timeout was a good power move. So, yeah, let that be a lesson to you, my boy. All right. So, yeah, Swami, I gotta say, so Malted in Montreal, he's the guy I was talking to you about earlier. So he was just doing a live stream, and these 2 guys that he had on, I don't quite know what happened, but they both just jumped out of the stream and totally left Swami hanging. It was kind of hilarious. So if you actually wanted to, and as I said earlier, go check out Swami's videos. It's Malted in Montreal, like Canada, and it will be his most recent one. What were their names? Billy and something or other? I'll wait for him to answer, but I'm going to keep drinking this. I'm going to take maybe like 2 more sips, and then I'm going to pour the other one. I really have no good, what do you call it? I have no goal tonight other than just to kind of hang out and drink. All right, so I have a, I'm gonna put it as a challenge. So, as all of you know, there are things called super chats, and if you were to use a super chat, it's the little $ on the bottom near your chat. If you were to use a super chat, not only does your name show up kind of highlighted and wonderful in the chat, but more importantly, if I hit $20 in super chat money tonight, I have a special drink over there that I'm going to pull out, and it will make it worth your money, I promise. But I'm just going to leave that out there. So, all right, let me move on to the 7-year. Bust out my fresh glass here. Billy was wasted. Not me. It's so weird to see. So, I mean, I think most of you know my name is Bill, and they've been talking about this other group, Billy and something or other, Billy and Mike, I think, and they keep referencing Billy, and every time I see that, I'm like, my mom calls me Billy. Most people don't, but Yeah, I don't know. It keeps throwing me off. I keep thinking people are talking about me. So, all right. There we go. Ooh, that's got a good smell to it. All right. Has anybody had the 7-year here? Somebody said they were drinking the 13. Has anybody actually tried either one of these? Don't you love that noise? I hope that came over the mic, just that glug, glug, glug. It's such a good noise. I like that when I pour out wine as well. All right. Hey, there we go, Swami. Nice. All right, so we are at $2, 18 to go. All right, let me give this a nose. As I said, is anybody else drinking this 7 or any of these Glendaloughs? It sounded like I think Peter was drinking it, but he was drinking the 13. So I'm more interested if anybody's drinking what I'm drinking. Ooh, that's very nice. It's almost like candy. It's very sweet, but all right. So you know Smarties, right? They're not very good tasting, but they smell kind of like, they almost smell just like sugar, right? They smell like colored sugar, like, oh, that tastes like purple, you know, except that smells like purple. Same idea. It's definitely very, very sweet, but subtle. What else can I pick out of there? This is not my strongest suit, by the way. The nosing, I do better with the tasting, but nosing is difficult, so especially on camera for the first time. I can tell you, this is a higher ABV. This is 46%, and there is no burn to it whatsoever. I'm actually a little surprised. I'm actually just gonna say that other than just a lot of the similar things that you get among most bourbons, I mean not bourbons, most whiskeys like honey and you know, potentially vanilla. Like there's really not a lot going on in the nose of this. It's very uninteresting compared to the other. All right, I'm gonna try a sip and see how this tastes. So cheers. All right, that's a lot better. Ooh, and the finish on that is totally surprising. So, on the palate, right away, you get lemon and, once again, star anise. Very mild on that, though. So, like a very mild licorice. No hint of the alcohol, though. Very, very. What would be the opposite of saying it's dry? I mean, it's not wet, but it's like. It's very sweet, and it has zero bite to it, actually, even in my throat. Now the finish on it, let me see if I can describe that. So the finish on it is completely different. It's almost smoky, but in a not like, I don't know what that was. Not in a peated kind of way. It's smoky, more like, think like a High West smoke, but significantly less. But like campfire, you know. But it's significantly less. Whereas, you know, if you were to have like a Compass Box Peat Monster or Lafroig or something, that's like a total different kind of. That's like a peaty smoke. This is almost like a, you know what it is? Of course, duh. It's charred barrels. It's got to be. And that would explain it, because there's a small taste of oak in there, but it's definitely more the charred. It is 92 proof. Let's see, 92. Yeah. All right. So what's my favorite whiskey, Scotch or bourbon? Huh. I'm gonna go bourbon at the moment. I know that's kind of a boring answer. It's more lack of experience in Scotch. I've had most of the like kind of normal level things that you could order at a really nice whiskey bar, but not the stuff that you could order at like a specialty whiskey bar, if you want to think of that. All right, so I don't have a whole lot to say about the taste and the nose on this one. I'm actually a little disappointed. I liked the double barrel a lot more than the 7. which I wish I could remember which one cost more. Can anybody out there do me a favor and just look up the price of either one of these? Because I would hate to be speaking wrong about one of these. Just let me know what the double barrel's worth. I want to say that that's the more expensive one, but I could be totally wrong. I mean, this one, I know this is a stupid way to think about it. This one has a cork, that one has a screw top, so I'm thinking that one might be cheaper, just by virtue of it having a screw top. All right. So why don't we move along? I'm gonna keep drinking this and kind of finish telling you about this guy Donlin. So he told me that he actually wants to potentially come on the show. Now I guess he lives in Boston now. He relocated. He's the kind of like the hype man for the whiskey their whiskey, the marketing manager essentially. All right, sorry. My boy's just getting freaking annoying. Just boot. All right. All right, one of these days I'm going to make one of you guys a moderator for me to just make things a lot easier and more interesting for the audience, so sorry about this. I'm definitely a little out of practice too. Have I tried the Jack Daniel's or Wild Turkey American Honey whiskeys? I've tried the Jack Daniel's one. So first off, I hope, I can't say for sure, but I plan on never doing a review of a flavored whiskey. At least not like a flavored whiskey. You know, if something adds flavor, like a Canadian or something, or some Scotches, I'll do those. But I don't really want to do like Crown Royal Maple or the Honey Jack Daniel's or anything like that. They're not whiskeys either, so that's a good part of it. But in general, they're not really my thing. I tried Bird Dog once, and I actually got this really, really cool shot glass that looks like a shotgun shell. It was about the only benefit that particular whiskey had, though, because in my mind it was kind of garbage, and they just tossed a bunch of flavor. They're like, this is blueberry whiskey. It's like, boy, that's a terrible thing to be. So anyway, so anybody have a chance to check out that price for me? I wish I could tell you a little bit more about this. I'm having a little trouble nailing down some of the flavors. I mean, I don't want to just rattle off the obvious ones. You know, like I actually get a little bit of orange peel in here. It's just everything about this is very light except for the finish, which kind of hits you. It's almost like you don't taste the alcohol right at the beginning, and it takes a second. So if you think about, like, if you were to drink, let's go back to that Whistle Pig's a bad example because of rye. If you were to drink a high ABV Scotch, so let's even say something fruity, but just with a high alcohol content, you know, you're gonna kind of taste it and it's gonna taste good, but you get that like almost drying out of your tongue that you get with the higher alcohol. That's what this does, but after like a second and a half. So it's interesting in that way. And I've had a couple of other whiskeys that have done that, but it's always a surprise when that happens. All right, so let me talk to you a little bit more about this guy. So the Glendalough. I was saying it totally wrong earlier, by the way. It's not Glendalough, it's Glendalough. The Glendalough Distillery, they, you know, like I said, it's 5 guys. They're kind of doing their own thing, and they have, you know, what a lot of the smaller distilleries have. They have gin, you know, they have the White Dog coming out all the time just to try to make money, which I totally get and actually totally respect. I might try to get my hands on the I forget the word. It begins with a P, but it's basically just the new make. I'm going to try to get my hands on a bottle of that because I'd like to be able to do all of these. They only have 4 bottles, so it should be easy enough. And they have been doing this for a little while, and I love the idea of like friends going into business with each other. You see that a ton in the craft beer industry, but it's much less of a commitment to do that because you could be cranking out product pretty much as soon as you have your equipment, you know, within a couple of days, whereas this is like, hey, let's all invest a ton of money and then wait 3 years. So anyway, all right. You know, I'm terrible at keeping to my word. I think I'm totally going to bust out that other bottle anyway, just because I think it'd be fun to do. But I'm going to give it like 1 or 2 more minutes. So tell me what you guys are drinking out there. I'd like to know, or hopefully the rest of you are actually drinking with me and not just watching me try to guess at flavors on the internet without drinking along. So, oh, here we go. All right, so check this out. So this guy, boom, that didn't come up at all. That's because, sorry, there we go. So that guy right there, right, that's the logo of Glendalough. So that is St. Kevin, which if you've never heard of him, neither had I. St. Kevin is, some would compare him to like Bear Grylls of the year almost like 580 AD. So what he was the next in line to become a, I think it was a king or something like that of their region in Ireland. And he didn't want that responsibility. So instead what he did is he went out into the woods and the mountains and just lived out there for 7 years. And I mean, all of this is potentially fabricated, who knows, but what I saw from my very, very brief research was that this is a guy that actually existed, so whatever. Anyway, so the reason that they made this the 7-year is because of St. Kevin. And he's kind of like the guy that they wanted to put all over their bottles because he kind of represents, you know, going out and doing your own thing and living by your own rules. I mean, this dude went out and lived in the wilderness for 7 years and survived pretty well. And then there's this story of him you know, kind of just becoming so in tune with nature that at some point, some bird, I forget the type of bird, laid eggs like in his hand or something like that. So he stood there for 13 days until they hatched, and that's where the Glendalough 13 comes from. And then he stood there for another 13 days until they basically flew away. And it's, I don't know, if you ever get the chance and you go to Glendalough's website, they have this video, and I gotta say the production value on this thing is fantastic. It's like this, it's like watching a quick little movie about the history of the distillery put on by like the History Channel. You know, it's just high enough quality that you're like, all right, there was some money behind this, but bad enough quality that you're like, but maybe they skimped a little bit on the outfits. So, I don't know. Honestly, it's about a 3.5 minute watch, and I almost included it in the live stream here just because I was like, this is worth watching. It was pretty funny. Couldn't recommend it higher. So, all right, so you just poured a glass of Glenfiddich 12, Jim Beam Original, nice. Malted's drinking beer. Welsh is drinking Duncan Taylor Single Cask St. Lucia 11-year rum. Wow, that is a mouthful. I do not know much about rum, but Malted in Montreal is your guy for rum. So, let's see. All right. So anyway, the whole St. Kevin thing. So then they have this another story where he was kind of like the not patron saint. He was this guy, and after he was out there for like 7 years, he settled in Glendalough. Man, I keep wanting to say, what's the other one? Not Glendalough. Glendalough. It's Glen. Sorry, whatever. He settled in Glendalough. These freaking Glen things, they're all over the place. Glendalough. He settled in Glendalough, and he built a church. And he became a minister of that church. And then ultimately ended up building 7 of them. But that was after the village started being settled. And came under attack by the English. So they decided to, you know, fortify their walls and all this stuff. They built walls. They fortified their doors, which were made of oak. And so after they fended off the attack, they were like, wow, this oak stuff is like, you know, really strong. So let's put our it's like the new make, or it was, you know, water of life. Let's put that inside oak casks for storage. And then they found out that it mellowed out the flavor and it tasted better. And this was before the year 600. So there was some, not controversy, but some arguments about, you know, like, did the Irish first come up with whiskey, or did it come from the Middle East, which is what more people think. And, you know, I have no clue. But there was also some people saying, like, well, you know, monks traveled all over the place. There's totally proof that they could have influenced the Irish. So I don't know. But either way, that's the very vague story that will be much more refined by the time I put out a real episode on this whiskey. All right, let's see what other people are drinking. Drinking Chicago tap water. Great nose and flavor. Oh, Tom, I'm sorry that you live in Chicago. That's an unfortunate thing. McKellen 25, Mike and Billy. All right, I'm a little jealous. Mike and guys do a great job. Thanks. All right, yeah. So, anyway, that's that. All right, so I'm gonna bust out the other thing. Seems Malted's the only one willing to put up some money for the show that you're about to get. But I can speak a lot more passionately about the thing I'm about to bust out. Let me finish off this dram though. Not a great shot. I'm gonna not do that again. Yeah, without a doubt, the 7 is not nearly as good as the double. All right, so if any of you remember, I want to say it was back in, actually, I know it was back in April, I put out an episode called Booker's Batches. And my intent was to do a new video every time that Booker's put out a new batch. And I like Booker's, you know, even though they've got their whole thing with how much extra they've been charging for stuff. You know, it went from about $60 to $75, and it's ultimately going to go up to $100, which is kind of ridiculous for a bourbon. I mean, I haven't tried Pappy, but the only thing that even gets close to that is Pappy. But I ran into an issue where I could not find Booker's 2017-02. And it took me until December of this year to find it. It is very, very, very hard to come by, apparently. I have found the 03, and I have a friend that owns the 04, so I'm going to borrow that from him. But the 02, I called around. Like, I literally could not buy this, even though I wanted to. So I got some Booker's. Now, those of you that have watched many of my live streams will know that I have an opinion about Booker's. It's a good opinion, but Booker's causes problems. Booker's makes me make dumb decisions. Originally playing poker, but occasionally on live streams. So, well, $49 in Santa Cruz. It depends on which one you're talking about, because you can buy the 2016 and the 2015s for that cheap. The 2017s are where they increase the price. So if you can find a 2017, 01, 02, 03, 04 for that price, then you should buy it. All right, so I'm about to open this bottle, and I have not had this yet. It's 127.4 proof. That is 63.7%. So let me go ahead and gingerly open this beautiful, beautiful bourbon. Maybe. Let's see. It's freaking like electrical tape. Black wax. Black death. Alright. I'm going to take out one of these guys. You got 49 pounds? Oh, 49 pounds, though. Yeah, I mean, come on. You guys and your weird money symbols. Oh boy, look at that beautiful color. That is the color of mistakes about to be made. Alright, so the 2017-02 is called Blue Knight's Batch. I cannot tell you why yet. Usually it says, oh, there is a card. Awesome, cool. I'm going to resist the urge to read this over the live stream, but I will give you the gist. Many years ago, my dad, I'm going to read one paragraph out of like 7, so give me a break. Many years ago, my dad, Booker No, was invited to attend a Blue Knights rally in Kentucky. He eagerly accepted because, as he put it, you could never have too many police officer friends. Dad made fast friends with the Blue Knights, and before you know it, he'd invited all 300 of them over to our house the next day for a barbecue lunch. You can imagine Mom's face when he told her at breakfast the next day. but that was Dad, larger than life and always making new friends. Yeah, so anyway, they're basically saying that they now do that every year. So that makes a little bit of sense, and it makes sense why he'd call it that. I do actually love that about Booker's, that they name each one, and there's always a reason. And if you do your research, they don't make shit up, which is nice. I mean, they do a barbecue every year. So, I don't know. I kind of admire that. Despite all of the stuff that Booker's all the bad blood that Booker's caused, I don't hate them. I just hate that their bourbon is so damn expensive because it makes it a little harder to buy. All right, so I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pour 2 of these because I'd like to make 2 mistakes tonight. I also apparently have to stay up, not apparently, I have to stay up till 1 a.m. tonight to release some software for a client. So I've got a long night ahead of me. I've got to be up for at least another 3-ish hours. So I poured that second one. I'm going to take my super amazing pipette that probably cost about 3 cents to make, and I'm going to drop a couple of drops in there. Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, 3. I'm going to go 3. All right. I'm going to have a little bit of water first because I want to cleanse the palate from that 7. It's not bad. It's just not great. Yeah, don't worry about how heavy the pour is. The heavier the pour, the more entertaining the live stream gets. So that's what I'm going for here. This is the big guns. All right. So this one does not have the water. This one does. So let me nose this from about a foot away here. Booker's. No. All right. Well, Malted, I wouldn't mind having you on. I have never tried actually bringing somebody in, and although I know how to, I'm not confident I could figure it out while I'm actually doing the live stream. And the bigger problem here, and this is actually something good, and I'm also more keeping you guys in suspense because I want to take this sip. I got a brand new computer for Christmas. I just can't have it until Christmas. So I should be able to do significantly better and more frequent live streams once I get that computer up, and I plan on having guests, and I'm going to do the whole shebang. I plan on making it a common part of my channel. Excuse me, a regular part of my channel. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Booker's and Coke. I have not tried that yet. Man, I love that. I love that comes up every time. I'm not even being sarcastic. I actually think that's hilarious. All right. Wow. Wow. I just stuck my nose right in there. 0 burn at almost 130 proof. All right, let's see. You know what, Malted? I'm going to make you my very first guest because I think I owe you one. So, all right, let's see. You're also the only person to fork up some money for this mistake. All right. So there's not a lot going on in there. Maybe if I had to take a guess, I'm getting a little bit of orange out of there, but it's pretty much just alcohol that you're smelling. Very little burn, but there's not a lot going on there. I'm expecting the opened up one to have a little bit more, but let's get this done. Cheers. Oh, that's good. Ooh, that's really good. So what do we got? Wow, that's like, oh man, that's like candy again. The other one, that's not candy. This is like candy. I could just drink this without any water in it. This is amazing. This is so much better than the 01. The 01 was garbage. This one is fantastic. So what I'm going to do, because now I have the ability to continue that Booker's batches, I'm going to put like a little slider. It's actually going to be over here because I always have my tasting notes over here. So it's going to be over here, and I'm going to rate the different ones comparatively to each other. So far, the 01 is like down here, and this one's like here. So anyway, unfortunately, after I told you that you can't get your hands on it, and I'm now telling you how good it is. So maybe that's why. We'll see. Oh man, that's delicious. Yeah, that's going to cause some problems real fast. You can already, like, I can feel myself just immediately being like, hey, don't drink too much of that. So it's a good thing I have 2 of them. All right, let me try nosing the one that I opened up with a little bit of water. I might even go like overkill on water on this one, just to really see if I can get anything. But let's see. Oh, the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Nice, good for you. Sorry, I got distracted by the comments here. Oddly enough, after putting a couple of drops of water in there, I actually get the alcohol more out of the nose. That doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, I am, so I guess it does, but that's bizarre. Not much more on the nose though, as far as individual items to pick out. All right, let me try this. Okay, the water makes a difference. All right, let me go a little bit more. I'm gonna double the water, so I'm at 6 drops now. I will say I'm not usually a guy to add water to my whiskey. I know that it's a very normal thing to do, and it's a thing that you probably should do. And I get the science behind it. I mean, technically I'm a scientist, so I do get it. But in my mind, like I always just have a hard time getting over that hurdle of like a whiskey should taste the way that it's supposed to taste when it's delivered to you. I mean, unless on the bottle it says you should add drops of water to this, like I feel like a whiskey should speak for itself. So it's a weird mentality. I get that, and I know I'm totally in the minority there, but that's just the way I feel. So anyway, all right, let me try nosing this. Okay, so it's... Oh, Tom! Hell yeah, dude. Thank you very much. This one's to Tom. Yeah, tastes better with a little bit of water. It's got a little bit more going on there. So it would not surprise me to hear that this has a decent rye count in it. There's a good amount of spice that comes out once you've added some water. But, I mean, obviously it's a bourbon, so it's got at least 51% corn. I'm guessing it's probably more. Tom, I just gotta say, you're awesome, dude. I actually, like, I love being in the different streams with you. It's always fun. All right, so in this case, let me do a little side-by-side here. The nose on the one without water, I feel like smells a little nicer, and oddly enough, like I said, it's because this one smells like alcohol. This one, maybe it's almost too high a proof to really get in there, but it does. It smells like, this one smells like alcohol, this one smells like sweet bourbon, you know? So, all right, let me try tasting this one again, and then this one. Stings the lips a bit. I mean, you're not wrong, Welsh. It does taste better with some water. But as I said, I don't know. I'm honestly not even opposed to putting water in there. You know what? I feel like whiskey should almost come with directions of how they want you to have it. You know, like if you're ordering a nice steak, I mean, that's a bad example because everybody knows you just get it medium rare or rare. Let's go with this. Let's say you're at a restaurant and you order like an expensive meal, and you ask the waiter, because maybe they're a sommelier or something, and you say, what wine pairs well with this? Or how should I eat this? You know, like, should I have the risotto with a bite of the pork tenderloin, or should I have, that's a terrible combo, but like, should I have it this way or this way? Like, there's no instructions with bourbon. If you had a bottle of this that said, like, this is delicious with 6 drops of water, like, I would 110% be behind adding water to it. But if you don't put something like that on there, I just feel like you should drink it the way it comes out of the bottle. So, anyway, all right. Butterscotch, huh? All right, let me try this guy. New Game Plus. Nice to see you. You know, I think my taste buds are a little fried at this point. It's tough to say. So MGP, are you Nolan or are you Dustin? I think you're Dustin. Oh, sorry, I think you're Nolan normally when you're in here, right? You know, Bourbon Journey. Do you have the O2 as well? Yeah. Hey, Triple Cap, what's going on? I'm getting butterscotch, but it's more Dustin this time. Hey, Dustin. The butterscotch is there, but it's tough to say that. Like, bourbon is delicious, but it's boring to review because they all taste the freaking same, and then they have like one thing different, maybe two. It's all vanilla, oak, you know, maybe some honey, maybe some butterscotch, maybe some, I don't know, like some orange if you're lucky, or some apple if you're drinking a Woodford. It's just, I don't know, bourbon's boring to me now. I love it, I drink it, and I like thoroughly enjoy it, but reviewing it gets, like, when I'm editing the video, and you guys know I have those little icons on this side, boy, it's hard to do the opposites. It shouldn't be, but when I do the icons over here, I'm always just like, and there goes some oak, and there goes some orange, and there goes some vanilla. I swear, vanilla has shown up on more of my reviews than anything. Oh, sorry, Bourbon. Do you have the 1702? Just because it seems like you're commenting related to this one, and I'm just curious if you have that specific one. Yeah, this is good. I'm glad I brought out the bourbon. I think what I need to do before live streams is just drink for like the 10 minutes leading up to it. I think I'll be a much more interesting live stream. Shout out to Malted in Montreal, who does a live stream every week, and excuse me, does it alone most of the time, and does an awesome job at it because he's just doesn't give a crap. And so for those of you that have, hold on, water. Sorry if that came through the mic. I tried to cover it up. Still getting over a bit of a cold, but so have any of you watched Scotch for Dummies? I'm sure a lot of you have. I obviously recognize a lot of the names in here, but I know that a lot of these live stream videos end up getting a decent amount of traffic afterwards. So let me just kind of run through the list here. There's a few people that you need to sub to. You got Scotch Test Dummies, you got Malted in Montreal, you got Aqua Vitae, and you've got Scotch for Dummies. And there's No Nonsense Whiskey, who might be up your alley. Then, let's see, I'm trying to think of the other ones. Sorry, who's the other one? Malted Man Cave. So all of us are in this little chat together. And on Twitter, we have this like direct message chat thing going on. We kind of just shoot the shit all day. It's actually pretty fun. A lot of times I should be like maybe working a little harder, and I'm just like, hey, do you guys ever, do whatever? Although lately I think I've been annoying the crap out of them, because as I approached that 6,000 subs, I was like, hey guys, 5 more subs. Hey guys, 4 more subs. Hey guys, 2 more subs. So, oh shit, my audio's going bad. Damn it. Is it still bad? I'm gonna stop just going off on a lark here. Did I move my mic when I? No, mic should be okay. Sorry for all that terrible sound that I just made go through the speakers. I just replaced the battery, by the way. After that last video, oh my god, I was so embarrassed by the freaking audio in that video, the Johnny Walker Black, double black. That was awful. It was just, hi, welcome to the whiskey. So, of course, 99% of the time, I record the intro, and then I go watch it to make sure my lighting is okay, make sure my dome isn't glaring too much, which I know it is tonight, but my cough killed the mic? Fuck. All right, hold on. Let me try something. Probably shouldn't have said the F word because now I'm going to get... hold on. All right, did that bring the mic back? Of course, I've got like a couple minutes left in the stream. Although, you know, normally I cut this thing at an hour. I have no reason to really do that tonight. Maybe I'll do it like an hour and a half or an hour and whenever I feel like it. How's my audio now? Is it all right? Sorry for the dead air. Just kind of waiting on a response here. Talk amongst yourselves. SNL, I hope. If you didn't get that reference, I just sounded really dumb. Oh, it just got quiet when I coughed? Yeah, I put my hand over it. I tried not to blow out all of your speakers. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to assume I'm okay unless you all tell me I'm differently. All right. I'm still quiet? Come on. All right, let me do this. Glad I brought the mouse over here. All right, there we go. I just cranked my mic about 10%. Let's see what that does. All right, so I mentioned this most times, but because I always love seeing how much traffic this live stream ends up getting afterwards, usually a few hundred, possibly even 1,000 views. I'm going to give one more shout out here, totally unrelated to Scotch, and I always like to do it whenever I see them show up because it's a bit of a motivator for them to show up. So New Game Plus. I know, because YouTube tells me that most of my viewers here are between the age of 25 and 35, and they're guys, which means that you all are gamers just like me. So if you are at all into retro gaming, you should check out the podcast, New Game Plus Podcast. It is 3 guys reviewing one old game over 7 days, and then they talk about it. Did I nail that, Dustin? Did okay anyway. Thank you guys for the confirmation. Anyway, so check out ngppodcast.com. I'm pretty sure that's their website. Dustin, feel free to post your website in the chat, and I'll approve it if it gets flagged. But don't feel, guilty doing it. Just do it so it doesn't make a thing. All right, let me get back to whiskey. So let's see. Have any of you tried the Glenfiddich stuff with the funky finishes? Like let's say the pale ale finish, and then there was another one. The one that I wanted to try was the frozen grape. I forget what they called it, but the idea is that they wait until the first frost and then they harvest the grapes. It's how they normally make. The name is escaping me right now. It's a type of wine. It begins with an R. It's really, really sweet. Not roast something. Whatever. Anyway, I really, really, really wanted to try that one. Have any of you tried any of the funky Glenfiddichs? IPA and the XX. What's that? What's the XX? Winter Storm. Yes, Winter Storm is coming soon. Okay, so it's actually not even out yet. That one, I could have sworn that Whiskey and the Six did that, and I should have added him to that list earlier too. Maybe around March. Ice wine finished. Okay, yes, ice wine. So what is the wine that I'm thinking of? It's not just ice wine, but there's another one. It's oh my God, I'm killing myself that I can't remember this, and I know I shouldn't dwell on it because it makes a very boring live stream. But maybe breaking the fourth wall there makes it a little bit better. Nice Scotch. I'm a little jealous. Actually, I'm a lot jealous. I really, really wanted to try that one. Maybe I'll look for it. I don't know. I'm guessing it's pretty hard to come by. Anyway, so let's see. What else is going on? So Christmas is coming. I have a number of whiskeys. You know what I'm going to do? All right. So I have a Patreon account, and I'm not going to whore myself out right now. I'm more just saying I have a Patreon account, and everyone can see certain posts, right? So if I open it up to everybody, everybody can see it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a post, and I'm going to list maybe as many items as they'll let me list for a poll. And it would be awesome if all of you could go to patreon.com/thewhiskeydic. and check out the post and vote on which whiskey you want me to do for my Christmas episode. I honestly just don't have a good idea. I have so many whiskeys I want to review. I originally had a cool idea. It ended up being really lame in reality. So you know the whole like that little rhyme about like not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse, right? So I wrote out. This is gonna sound lame too. I do some poetry in my off time there, and more to say I can write poetry half decently. So I tried to make it sound cool and use whiskey terms and whatever, and it sounded as lame as it sounds coming out of my mouth right now. You know, it's like, not a creature was stirring, not even something grouse. You know, it's like it was lame. It was really really bad. So I opted to not do that. So I don't really have a special winter episode or Christmas episode that I'm going to do, but I do want to do my normal review, and I have every intention of putting out a video on Friday. Might actually do 2 videos this week now that I have the Bourbon Booker's 2017-02. But I want to know what you guys would like to see. So maybe we'll even consider it kind of like a fan gift that you guys can choose whatever you want me to review. I'll list out pretty much everything that I have in my bar, and whatever gets the most votes, I'll do the review on. So, all right, let's see what we got going on in the comments here. Glenfiddich ice wine is like $350 in Canada. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to be buying that. I get a decent amount of money from the channel, but not that much. There are 20 brand ambassadors from around the world, and let them pick a cask that they liked the most, and then Glenfiddich made a blend of those casks. That's the Project XX. All right, that's pretty cool. Actually, that's the one I saw. It was the second version of it, though. I saw that at Julio's today. It was like the Project XX02 or something like that. So, interesting. Glenfiddich is beginner stuff. I actually just recommended Glenfiddich 12 to a friend of mine who I'm getting into whiskey, actually. I gave him, all right, I convinced him to buy Larceny, and then I convinced him to buy Monkey Shoulder. Actually, he ended up watching my video and buying it, which is hilarious because this guy, his name's Dave, he was my very, very first subscriber. So if I go look through my records, and YouTube does awesome analytics, by the way. If I go look through all of my subscribers, he is #1. And I'm friends with him in real life. So anyway, he went and bought Monkey Shoulder, polished that off super quick, and then asked for a recommendation. I was doing my usual tour of the liquor stores in my area looking for Speyburn 15, and he came with me, and I convinced him to buy the Glenfiddich 12. All right. Picked up the Ball Blair 03. Never heard of that. Yeah, I have no idea about Ball Blair. What kind of whiskey is that? With a name like that, I don't even know what to guess. I would guess it's Scotch, but no clue. So what are you guys asking for Christmas? Anybody asking for any cool whiskey stuff? I'm considering doing a giveaway. I think I would like to. Actually, I can't even imagine that I'm not going to. My video is being released on Friday, which means I haven't even filmed it yet. I have a feeling I'm going to give away something cool. But I don't know. I mean, I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing this channel, and I have very, very generous people like Tom R there who just chipped in $18 because he didn't want to watch me make dumb mistakes for free. Which, Tom, you're the man. All right, so it's Scotch, non-peated. Okay. Anyway, so I would like to kind of give back to the community, you know. I don't necessarily want to give out T-shirts because, once again, I haven't really come up with a good idea for my T-shirts yet. I mean, it's kind of fun walking around wearing a T-shirt that just says Whiskey Dick on it. But I think I'd like to do something a little bit more. Let's see. Highland Whiskey and Absolutely Excellent. How much does it cost? I haven't heard of it, and I don't even think I've seen it. Santa was good to you the last couple of weeks, huh? What'd you get? Larceny Wreck is fine. Glenfiddich 12, not so much. Well, he wanted a Scotch, so I suggested that. And come on, you gotta be nice to Glenfiddich 12. It's really not bad. I mean, a Glencairn glass is kind of what I'm leaning towards, specifically a branded Whiskey Dick one. I give out the Whiskey Dick Patreon year, basically. So I've got a couple of patrons that are up at a pretty high value, and they get a lot more free stuff. And if you ever felt generous enough to do that, I would be happy to see that. But either way, you end up getting some branded stuff if you at some of the higher tiers. And just sent out, actually, I think my second, it says Whiskey Dick Patron 2017 on it. But I don't know. All right, so the 03 is a 12-year Scotch and costs about $59 in Chicago. All right, so that's actually totally cheap, purchasable. It's not even remotely a blocker. Let's see, Scotch for Dummies, you're doing a Christmas show. That's great. All right, so here's a question for you, because once again, I just don't care. I'm gonna pull malted here. I'm getting drunk, and I've got hours to kill. I'm not gonna go for hours because nobody wants to watch that, but I'm in no hurry to sign off either. So here's a question for you: if Whiskey Dick, Santa Bill, whatever you want to call me, were to gift out something fun for Christmas, shoot for the moon. What would you want? Let's put a cap at like $150. I'm not even saying it necessarily has to be whiskey. I just kind of want you to think of anything. What would be a fun thing to send out? It can be totally custom. I don't care. I'll do work. I enjoy this. I'll say I'm willing to work very hard, and depending on the subject matter, I can or cannot be very creative. So I'm a software engineer, and designing a UI and all that stuff, I can do it with my eyes closed, and I can tell you exactly why it needs to look the way it does. It could be awesome, all that stuff. But if you ask me to come up with ideas for merch, sorry. Sorry. So I just heard a voice behind me. I had no idea what it was. Can you hear that? I think my TV over there just kind of turned on, and it's playing "Do Your Ears Hang Low?" And I have no idea why. It must have been something my kids were watching. Can you hold on for 1 sec? I'm gonna unplug my mic and go turn that off. I'll be right back. Yeah. Alexa, stop. World's longest microphone cord. All right. So this is a good story. All right. Well, sort of. So I'm sitting here, as I just said, just start hearing, "Do your ears hang low?" Do the whatever. And no idea why. I don't even know why this just happened. So I have one of those Echo Dots in the other room. And you probably saw the video on me talking to Alexa about it, but about whiskey. I have no idea why the thing just started singing. You may have even heard it through my crappy laptop's microphone, but she was singing, so I'm just like, "Alexa, stop," and all of a sudden stopped. So I don't know why on earth it started playing that song. I do really, really, really hope that you all heard that. A mini barrel, really? So that's interesting, because I had suggested that in my my like 12 gifts to buy a whiskey drinker last year, and I remember thinking to myself that, like, although it's kind of fun, I don't know that it's necessarily good. Funny about prices, blah blah blah. Let's see. Welsh. Hey, shut up, bourbon. Sherry or bourbon barrel. With a cord that long, you really didn't need to unplug. You know, this thing is like 20 feet long, but I assumed it was the TV, so I was gonna go over and get the remote. But yeah, it was totally awkward to just stand here and be like, "I'm still going on the cord." Yeah, it's pretty long. So you'll notice I'm drinking the Booker's with the water in it. This is a little bit easier to stomach, and I think I'll probably end up drinking both of them because I got hours to kill. All right. Let me drink some water, though. This is a pretty fun way to spend a Saturday night. Actually, you know, like I know this is being recorded and all, but I generally just kind of feel like I'm hanging out with people, just kind of having a drink. Mostly because I recognize almost all of your names from other live streams, and I know I've chatted with all of you at one point or another. All right, so let's keep this spoiler free, but who is or has seen the Star Wars movie? I am going on Monday, and I'm pretty freaking excited for it. So, all right, Swami, let me, dude, I want to invite you, but I didn't, even when I set this thing up, I didn't set it up for Google Hangouts, so I don't think I can invite you. What I could try to do is, let me try something. All right, you're all gonna have to forgive me for a minute here. I'm gonna try to get creative. So I'm gonna fiddle with some stuff and hope my internet speed doesn't kill me. Swami, you're a liar. I didn't get your email. Also, Swami, I have myself muted. I'm not going to be able to hear you. I'm not about to put a mic in my ear. I mean, sorry, headphone in my ear. All right, whatever. I'm not going to do that. I'll figure that out in the new year, Swami. I really don't want to... All right, whatever. I don't want to deal with it. Oh, on Twitter. Okay. A few weeks to open up. Hey, what'd you guys think of that decanter video I did? I always feel a little awkward suggesting people buy stuff, but as I say profusely in those videos, I never recommend stuff I don't think is a cool product. So, yeah. I saw like 4 people message me to let me know that they bought it. And actually, I will say that there was this one guy, his name's Barry. He's one of my patrons. And he ordered the whiskey decanter, and when it arrived, it was all shattered to pieces. And so he was just kind of like, I don't want to be a bother, and I'm not going to bother contacting them. I'll just eat the cost. It doesn't matter. And I kind of like, you know, I was like, well, whatever you want to do with your own money, that's fine. But I guess they reached out to him to ask if it was any good, you know, if he was enjoying his purchase or whatever. And he mentioned it came broken. So then they gave him a 99% off promo code. He reordered it and got it and likes it. So I don't know. It's actually really nice to hear that the company that I was trying to push was in like that nice, I guess. You know, like that's obviously fantastic customer service. They just totally ate the cost of one of those things at the expense of, you know, I'm sure they still made a profit because any decent seller is going to double their cost. But still, like that was really good to hear. So I'm just curious if anybody in the chat here bought any of those decanters or at least likes seeing my suggestions here. Jack Daniel's single bottle select, single barrel select, I'm guessing. That is a surprisingly good drink for a bourbon. I mean, Jack Daniel's gets a lot of crap, especially for their old number 7. Even their Gentleman Jack is really not that good. But I gotta say, the single barrel is a decent drink. Holds up to a lot of other bourbons. All right, Scotch. That sounds good. I'm really excited. Boy, I just just realized that's the one without the water in it. Man, that kills your throat. So as enjoyable as that might be to drink on the couch, I am doing a live stream where I need to talk. So I'm going to throw a couple drops of water in there. I'm not going to do as many as I did in the previous one. So Scotch Test Dummies sells this really cool, like, I guess, I mean, it's kind of like a pipette, you know, I mean, this is straight out of chemistry class pipette. I actually ordered, it's like 100 of them for like $6 or something like that. But they have a really cool like water dropper adder thing, and I went to go buy it. It was like $70, so I didn't pull the trigger. But I think it's a cool thing. I wanted to buy it, but I just kind of didn't go with it. All right, so it doesn't seem like a lot of people have seen Star Wars yet. Boo. But either way. All right, I'm kind of running out of steam, I think. I don't know. Somebody throw up a topic. That's a good... Oh, you know, that actually... All right, so Tom R. has a really good idea. I am saving up for some wireless mics, which, by the way, if anybody knows anything about audio equipment, I'm looking for some wireless microphones. I'd like at least 4, and preferably lavalier mics that can work with a D3200. Or an external audio source kind of thing. Like, I don't mind matching up the audio and the video later. But if anybody knows anything about that kind of stuff, I would love some recommendations because I'm totally clueless as to what to buy. Anyway, so he was just saying that little water dropper thing could be a cool gift for me to send out. So, and if I order through the Scotch Test Dummies, they get a little kickback. So that could be a double plus good. Thanks, Scotch. I appreciate the pity. He said I'm having a good show. I'm fully aware this is not a train wreck, but this is just watching a dude get drunk on TV. But you know, that could be fun, I guess. I had fun doing it with Malted in Montreal the other night. He got hammered. Man, that was funny. It was fully entertaining too. All right, so once I finish this dram, I'm gonna probably hop off. But I'd say we probably got another 5 to 10 minutes. Takes me a little while. So one interesting thing to know about live streaming, and you'll all have noticed this if you've watched any of mine. In about an hour, I typically drink about 4 drinks, which is significantly more than I would drink in a normal hour, because when I'm filling dead air, I'm usually taking a sip of my drink. So, you know, within an hour, I'm usually getting pretty well off and sometimes a little bit drunk. When I bust out the Bookers, it's almost not a question, but it's not like a normal world thing. Drinking on camera is a bit fun, but it's weird. It's weird. Whatever. I'm rambling. All right. Four Loko classier than Fireball. Hell yes. Fireball is garbage. It is hot garbage. Sorry, I want to make that a topic, but there's no question. Four Loko, it's got prestige. It had its whole, you know, people were all about it. They were like, oh, Four Loko, it'll kill you. But yeah, if you drink like 10 of them, yes, it will kill you. The same way drinking Bookers, you know, 10 grams of this will give me alcohol poisoning. Yeah, people are getting hyped up on Four Loko because it's like basically an energy drink with alcohol. And yeah, can't even find it anymore. Not that I know of. I haven't heard Four Loko in years. All right, what's the top 5 best quality whiskeys? That is a hell of a question. Thanks, Malted. Fireball is straight class. Oh, man. Yes, it is class. It is low class. All right. Let's see. Do it, Swami. Go for it, Swami. Four Loco's still around. Where can you even buy it? I wouldn't even mind having some of that. I remember when the whole thing was going on, I kind of wanted to buy some. All right. Malted, you know what? I'm going to do you a favor. So it's 10:24. I'm going to hop off at 10:30. If you want to go live, I will either watch you or join you. It's completely your call. But either way, I'm not really ready to quit. As I said, I got to just kill hours. If I'm not doing this, I'm going to go play Horizon Zero Dawn. And in my current state, I'm probably just going to kill myself over and over and over again. So. Man, Booker's is good. Booker's is just good. I don't care. I really don't care about the price. You know, I I do at the time of buying it, but if you really think about it, like, if I'm going to buy something I truly enjoy, like, I've still got the 2017-01 sitting in my bar, because I can't drink it that fast. This stuff is freaking poison, you know? you gotta drink it slow. I actually went to drink it a little while ago, and I think I was just getting over a cold or something, and I like never ever, this is totally not an interesting topic, but I never get chapped lips, and just because I had a cold, I had chapped lips. I took a sip of Booker's, it was like my face was on fire, because it's just, I mean, think about it, you got like open cuts or whatever, like even micro cuts on your lips, and then you're putting 131 proof whiskey past it. That's just death. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Malt, you should go start up a live stream. It's 10:25. I'm going to chat for another 5 minutes, and I'm going to pop off. Anybody who's interested in continuing to watch me make a fool of myself with some Bookers, and watching the fully entertaining and more used to being drunk on camera Malted in Montreal, you should switch over to that channel as well. For those of you that are watching my live stream at a later date, know that you missed a fun time, and look for my State of the Union that I'm going to do at the beginning of 2018. I usually do them in March because I started my channel in March, and I like to do it kind of yearly, but I don't like trying to keep track of that date, so I think I'm just going to make it my first video of of the new year. I'm going to make my normal review, and I'm going to follow it up with my State of the Union, because I actually really like talking about my goals for the channel for the year, and even though it's kind of lame, if I'm going to make a resolution, it may as well be my first video of the year. I have a lot of really, really cool things I want to do over the next year, and as I mentioned, I'm a software engineer, so I've got some really cool ideas. Hopefully I have the time to do them. I'm very, very busy at work, but I'm like willing to put in the time. I'm willing to not sleep over some of these ideas, so I'm extremely excited about them. I'm being vague on purpose, so sorry, but give me a couple more months and I will be extremely specific here. All right, let's see. Nice stream, Bill. Another good one, always fun. Thanks, Bourbon. I am enjoying it. Booker's about 65 to 75 a bottle now. Bill, you're always well. All right, cool. All right, so it's 10:26. I'm not going to push it for another 4 minutes because, frankly, I got nothing else to say. But I will next time. So thank you very much for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. I hope you had fun. I certainly did, and this bottle is less full than I first anticipated. So let's do a quick little recap. I know I was basically signing off, but I'm going to interrupt myself. So far, until I do the official review, none of this counts. But my initial impression is the Glendalough... Man, I still can't say this thing. Glendalough... By the way, quick interlude. Doing these reviews is super hard for my channel because I hold myself to like a stupid amount of perfectionism, where if I make a freaking flub, I re-record. Sometimes it takes me like 2 hours to record a 5-minute video. Anyway, so Glendalough, the Glendalough 7, personally I would skip. The Glendalough Double Barrel, I would probably rush out and buy. And because I am killing time, as I said, Glendalough Double Barrel price. Nobody ended up giving me the answer to this. So, all right, this is the one that was like 40 bucks. Annoyingly enough, Master Malt has a 37, but then you're you're paying shipping or whatever. This one was 42 for me today. I think it's normally like 47. This is the one to buy. Not a huge surprise that the one that's double the price of this is better, but I would just totally skip the 7 and I would go for the double barrel. This is worthy of having in your bar. Excuse me. If I were to give it my normal rating, I would say buy it. Not stock it though, but I would definitely go buy it. And I would give that an ignore it. As for the bourbon, the Bookers, as always, stock that shit. That is good to have and often brings out fun. So, all right, now I'm really signing off, so have an awesome rest of your night, and if you feel like joining me over on Malted in Montreal's channel, then do so. Hopefully I'm invited over there, and I will try to do my best to be entertaining. Talk to you later.